7:48 right now. State lawmakers are back in Harrisburg this week, and one of the biggest issues they continue to address is the 2020 election. Nearly 1 year later, debate about Pennsylvania's election still happens daily at the Capitol. Joining us this morning on the Fox 43 Capitol Beat to talk about that and so much more is Democratic Representative Carol Hill Evans of York. Last time you were on with us, it was before the pandemic. You brought us cookies into the studio.
I know.
Bit of an inside joke, but it is good to see you again, and we look forward to having you back in-house hopefully soon. Thank you. Yeah, we want to get to some of those legislative items in just a moment. But first, you're leading the charge this week at the Capitol for something that you say addresses a growing epidemic, and that's diaper need awareness. It's Diaper Need Awareness Week. What don't people know about how serious an issue this is, and what can they do to help?
What people probably don't know, Matt, is that 1 in 3 families struggles with diaper needs, that it can cost up to $10,000 a year in order to supply just one child with all of the diapers that they need. And not only the diapers for our infants, but also incontinence products for our older adults. So we're talking about the 2 most vulnerable groups of people that we serve, and that's our children and our older adults. And so 7 years ago, then Representative Rosita Youngblood brought this to the forefront in terms of what this tremendous diaper need was and what a crisis it was starting to become. Here we are 7 years later, and although people are aware of it, there still is a very high need. And the cost of diapers going up, every time you turn around, there's an increase in the cost. And it just becomes extremely difficult. There are very few state programs that help to pay for diapers. It's one of the things that's not on the list of what some of those funds can pay for. And so parents are stuck with the, with saying that.
We're going to put more information on how people can help with this. As a parent myself, I get it. Diapers are expensive. We're going to put more information on our website, fox43.com, about this. I want to get to some of the legislative items going on this week. We saw the State Government Committee, which I know you are not a part of, but it's going to see the House floor pretty soon move forward on a constitutional amendment vote to enforce voter ID. The governor has said he's open to some election changes, but this bypasses him in the process. What do you want to see in terms of changes to the election system?
I don't know. You got me stuck on that one. I want to see more people get out and vote. How about that? We need to increase our numbers. But I think we also need to be cognizant of the fact that we're asking people to come in and work a 12-hour day for $100. And so that's the kind of, it's not the election itself, but it's how elections are run. And so if we're asking for volunteers to make sure that our polls are manned and maintained the way they should, that there is integrity, then we need to look at what we're asking people to do for that day. Twice a year, we're asking them to come in, start at 6 o'clock in the morning, work until 9 o'clock at night, and then say, oh, here's $100 for you. To me, that's not fair. And so that's one of the things I would like to see happen.
Another major issue continues to be masks and the power that the state has to enforce mandates in schools. And your school district, which is York, was already enforcing masks before this order, and now you can say that power has been taken away from its school board and parents. Are you concerned the administration has too much power in these instances? I'm more concerned, not about the power, I'm more concerned about the fact that without wearing masks, this disease is going to spread. It's going to continue to spread. And when you look at the numbers in the district, you can see how low the numbers are for those who are vaccinated. And so that's going to increase the amount of folks who come down with COVID, plain and simple. As far as the power goes, I think the power needs to be on the people to decide whether they want to wear a mask or whether they don't, but also not to do that based on any foolishness, but based on fact. So you'd rather see more local control on that?
I would rather see more local control. I'm all about local control. However, if the if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then the state has to step in. It's what they ask us to do. There are some school districts that are saying that they can't enforce their own mask mandate without the state coming in first and saying there is a mandate, you have to do it.
I want to move real quick. You're a member of the House Education Committee. You voted on a bill yesterday, voted no on a bill which would require public schools to post all school curriculum online. Why?
Because it just represents another unfunded mandate. Some of our schools don't have access to internet. They're not doing it. And so we're asking them to take dollars out of an already tight budget to provide something, whether it's another person to man those, the internet websites so that all the information can be updated as it needs to be updated.
We're running out of time, and I want to end on this. The Department of Health released COVID vaccination rates for legislative districts this week. Your district, the 95th, stands at 42.3%. That is in the bottom third of all House districts. Your thoughts on that, and what can you do or are doing to help increase vaccine usage in the city of York?
I know, I was sorry to see that. I was surprised to see it because I thought we had been doing a better job. And so I put out an email every week. I will be reminding people about getting vaccinations, and I'll also tell my story because I came down with COVID, and I don't ever want to get it again. I've watched people die around me that had COVID, and so just telling the story and trying to continue to impress how important it is to be vaccinated.
Representative Carol Hill Evans, appreciate your time as always, and as we said at the front, looking forward to having you back in studio, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll look forward to that, Matt. Thank you so much.
Yep.